it's Justin Archer with the Hoosier Boys. I wanted to talk about a topic that's been on my mind for a little bit. I wanted to discuss resisting the resistance. And what does it mean to be a resistor? I mean, we all know what those people hashtag resist, the stupid ice cream by Ben & Jerry's, pecan resist. We all know what we mean when we're saying that we're resisting the resistors, right? What does that entail? I want to say a few things that I may have noticed over the past several months that make me think there are more people resisting the resistance without acting like Proud Boys or protesters and going in and actually causing fights with these people. And I don't mean just trolling them on the internet or trying to debunk their crazy news articles, which definitely needs to be done. English. Anyways, I've noticed that it seems to me, now obviously this is anecdotal, I can't prove any of it, but go out there and tell me what you see. I want to see in the comments below what you think, okay? I've noticed when I go out in public, it seems that a lot more people are sporting American flags on their clothing, on their vehicles, at their houses, than used to in, say, the Obama era. Maybe second only to after 9/11. I remember after 9/11 there were flags everywhere. It seemed like patriotism was the main theme of almost anything we did. And it got a little crazy for a while, I'll admit. It got a little nationalistic. And people think that Trump is an ultra-nationalist. Like, do people even remember what happened after 9/11? I know it seems a lot of these college kids don't seem to. Maybe they weren't there for it. But we were even trying to take, like, French out of French fries. Even though French cut is why they're called French fries. Because they're French cut. It got ridiculous. I have noticed, again, people seem to be wearing more American flags. They are advertising where they stand on the fight everywhere they go. Just with stuff like this, like even under my office shirt today, you can catch my American flag. I wouldn't wear this office shirt out necessarily if I went out today. I'd probably take it off and just wear my t-shirt underneath it that I'm wearing right now. And I've noticed people wearing these grunt style shirts and stuff like that everywhere they go. Hunting apparel, American flag apparel. These are those people who are resisting the resistors, who are trying to tear down America. So they're flying their flags out everywhere they go. Now, they're not necessarily trying to be violent or abrasive or forceful with their resistance. They're trying to resist softly. Let me go over this buggy here. Hello, horse and buggy. Goodbye. Welcome to Indiana. I'd let you see it, but it's boring anyways. It's a big black box with Amish people inside. But I've just noticed that. It seems to me that people seem to wear it more often. Like, I don't expect necessarily violent clashes against Antifa in Indiana. But it seems to me that they are here. I know that they are here. I've gotten into arguments with them. I know some people who are probably either in it themselves or at least sympathetic to its cause. And I know one guy from South Bend who is definitely a member. And I really tried to get into his head why he was wrong and what falsehoods he was allowing to occupy space in his brain. Because it seems like these people have accepted a story as reality and deny the reality as a story. Unfortunately, and it seems there's no way to bridge the gap between the two because the cognitive dissonance is too strong. Anytime you try to debunk their story with reality, they just deny you immediately and claim that you're telling the story and not the reality. It gets really I want to say monotonous, but it's worse than that. I want to say hopeless, but it's worse than that. You'd have better luck trying to resuscitate yourself after banging your head into a concrete wall on purpose. Full force run, head first, from 30 feet away. It can't be done for some of them. I've seen some people slowly get red pilled because it seemed like they had never actually fully swallowed their blue pill, poison tablet, whatever you want to call that thing that these communists are swallowing and trying to force down other people's throats. This cyanide capsule of Marxism. But these guys are just totally lost. Some people are only lost because they follow the mainstream news cycle and they haven't figured out that the mainstream corporate news media is basically lying to everybody at all times. English. I'm going to smack myself stupid today. Then I'm going to get even worse problems speaking English. So, it seems to me there's no real way to get through these guys. So, the people who are resisting the resistors and just wearing patriotic material are like flying the flag. They're like, hey, you Antifa, anti-country punk. If you're going to do what you think you're going to do, one of the people you're going to have to fight is me. And I'm right here, right now, occupying this space, flying my flag. So what are you going to do about it, communist? And that's what I feel the statement is being made by these people. Some people may be doing it because they would do it anyways. But I feel like there's that extra percentage of people who are only doing it for political purposes in order to spite the Democrats, especially the communist, American-hating Democrats. The Ilhan Omar apologists, the anti-Semite excusing Ilhan Omar apologists, the Alexandria Occasional Cortex Marxist Democrats. And then there's the clueless liberals who have no idea. They're following this narrative down the rabbit hole, not even realize where it's leading because they think it's moral. That's the big thing. You know, obviously, the Democrats phrase almost everything they do in morality and not in reality. They're not trying to argue facts. They're trying to argue emotions and feelings. And that's where these people get lost. But it feels good to be there. So sometimes I think some of these people, like me, you know, we're flying our flags so that these moderates that don't necessarily believe the Marxist doctrine, but still maybe following the liberal media and our Democrats, they know, hey, I'm one of those conservative guys, and if I'm not going to misbehave and act a fool out here in front of you, maybe you can come to the conclusion that your concepts about those kind of people are wrong. And I know I'm convincing some people that they are wrong, with any luck. But it really depends on how far in the rabbit hole they go, how much of the social media they consume, and how much of the liberal media they fail to question thoroughly. I remember when I was a Democrat, it seemed like questioning the corporate media was important. It seemed like it was something that everybody wanted to do. Anonymous was a huge thing with liberal Democrats, as well as libertarians, which is what I identify as now. I totally identify as a conservative libertarian. I don't believe in anti-statism, but I believe the government should be as small as possible, only as big as necessary to protect our rights from those who would usurp them, foreign and domestic, especially foreign. Now, what changed? It seemed like the libertarians and the liberal Democrats were getting along in the anonymous days. And I know a lot of people from the troll days back when Anonymous was big. I was in the troll community, trolling flat earthers, and some of the trolls fell wholly for the media narrative about Trump and Russia, and it seems like the most false thing I've ever heard in my life. It seems so silly to me that these people who acted so skeptical of the media would all of a sudden lick their boots and believe everything that they say. What's wrong with you people? Where did your heads go in the last few years? Unfortunately, I lost contact with a lot of them. Some of them have re-embraced me because some of them did not fall for this narrative, conservative or liberal. But some of them did. And it makes no sense to me. Even some people who claim to be anonymous are still posting anti-Trump, pro-Russian conspiracy theory, delusional nonsense. But there are people from Anonymous posting pro-Trump, pro-conservative stuff. It seems like the split is about right down the middle with these two. But I think that's just because the leftist Marxists are more activist-oriented. So the conservative libertarians probably outnumber them, or at least the liberal Democrats and conservative libertarians in the Anonymous movement that used to exist, and the troll movement is split. But I don't think that that's so. I think actually more so they went to the libertarian conservative side, but the leftists are more active, so they appear to be more numerous. Now, obviously, they're more numerous in the big cities, where hive mind mentality seems to be more pervasive, and it would be hard to avoid since you're surrounded by people all the time having unitary point of view would be harder to escape. You have more people putting pressure on you to follow the guidelines of your peers, like just peer pressure. There's more peer pressure. I can't English today. I would love to edit it out, but this is a good rant, and I don't want to go back and make it a piecemeal and start chopping out spots where I failed English class today. So those of us showing our patriotism and our intuitive sense that things are a little crazy culturally right now for this country are doing so as a big middle finger to Antifa, saying, we're not going to fight you. You're not going to take this from us. You're not going to destroy our culture. And what you are offering is no better. And I will stand between you and my culture. I will stand between you and my country. I will stand between you and taking the rights of my children and taxing my children to pay for your couch life. We're not going to tax my kids so that you lefties can sit on the couch at your mommy's houses, dye your hair 27 different shades, and make up 37 new genders a day. I'm not going to do it. If this comes down to Hunger Games, which a lot of lefties try to appropriate and say that that's what Donald Trump is trying to initiate. No, if you watch Hunger Games, the Capitol is an obvious Marxist utopia that's held up by the enslavement of everybody else except for those who live inside the city. So those in the metropolis get to live like kings off the backs of those of us who live in the middle of the country, which is exactly the story of Hunger Games and exactly the concept of these Marxists. Because us people here in the middle of the country, we're farmers, manufacturing workers, engineers, builders. That's what we're going to do. Even if you tax us till we live live in shacks and shanties so that you guys can have apartments that cost, well, let's put it this way. Your 2-bedroom apartments on your left coast and east coast probably cost as much as a 4-bedroom house here in Indiana. And you guys are probably going to be like, we want that stuff for free. And it's well beyond our budgets here. You're basically taxing our pants off so that you can have socks. It makes no sense to me. And I'm going to stand between you guys and my kids. I'm willing to fight. I'm willing to get political if it happens that way. And I know that all these people walking around wearing their American flags, putting their flags on their cars, putting their flags on their houses, those people will stand between you and this culture too. And I support all those people who passively resist the resistors by sticking this big middle finger in their face everywhere they go. And I'll do it with you. I hope you guys are all having a good day. Make sure you subscribe, hit the like button, share it if you feel worthy. If you don't like it, tell me to jump off a bridge. I don't care.